We live? All right. Hey, so this is our fourth session for our Mentor of the Week, and I have with me one of my best friends, Fred Leeds, who is a real estate mogul here in LA and the world, and we'll hear about that in a second. But basically the idea with these talks is one of the favorite parts of LEAP is the mentor workshop. And in the mentor workshop, you guys get a chance as students to sit down with mentors from all walks of life and actually ask them questions about their career, which I'm going to do with Fred in a minute. So just in case you're a parent or somebody watching this for the first time, you don't know anything about LEAP, when you're done, go to our website. It's www.leapfoundation.com. You can find out more information about it. Our program this summer will be July 23rd to the 29th at UCLA, as always. We'll have about 500 students. Now, Fred has been a mentor and has been coming for the last 9 years. It's our 10-year anniversary. LEAP will be 10 years old this year. And one of the fun parts of LEAP, and probably one of the parts that students like the best, is the mentor workshop. The program culminates on Friday with the mentor workshop, where again, we'll have like 100 mentors sitting at tables and students just asking questions. And Fred is the go-to guy in LA for real estate. So let's just dive right in. Why real estate? I mean, you could have been a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. Why real estate?
Oh, that's a great question, Bill. And I got involved into real estate because I was buying and selling and flipping cars in high school and in college so that I could go to college. And it wrecked my life. And the reason it wrecked my life was because I made so much money that I bought my first little apartment building my sophomore year. And by my junior year, I decided not to go into medicine or biology or biochemistry. I decided to become an ugly capitalist. So I bought the real estate reference guide for $2.95 on a Friday. On a Monday, I took the exam, and shortly thereafter, I went to work in the investment division of Fred Sands Realtors in 1978. And out of 1,000 agents from 78 to 86, I was number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in sales.
Wow.
I took my commissions. I didn't take vacations. I didn't buy expensive clothes. I didn't buy expensive cars. I bought buildings. I bought adjacent parcels. And then I started doing construction, renovation, and redevelopment.
And today, just in the LA area, you own how many units? Almost 6,000, right?
Well, I'm going to start out by saying I'm not a member of the Lucky Sperm Club. My mother's a retired school teacher. I inherited nothing. In high school, my mother sat me and my twin sister down and said, Fred, I can only afford to send one of you to college. You better get a job. So I learned equality at a very early age.
Oh, no, even earlier, because I know his twin sister. And she said,
yes,
the only reason you were born first was because I let you.
That's true. And you do know my twin sister. And by the way, she has perfect teeth because she knows Bill, Dr. Dorfman. So with a little bit of effort and a lot of hard work, and I only work half a day from 8 to 8, I have found the opportunity, and today I have approximately 5,000 apartments and 1.5 million square feet of retail. I have 165 employees.
Wow.
So that's what we've done, and I've done in a relatively short number of decades.
So what do you love? Because I'm going to ask you what you hate, but what do you love most about your job?
Well, I love creating value, and I love creating opportunity, and cash flow is pretty nice too.
Okay, and on the other side, what don't you like so much about your job?
You know, I got to tell you, my favorite day out of the week, I like my job, I like the people that I get to work with, and I like to find solutions. So I operate affordable housing. In addition to operating affordable housing, I've built Home Depots, Food for Less's, Rite Aids, McDonald's, and AutoZones, and other retailers. I like finding opportunity. I like being there first. I like looking for that opportunity, because money is made in real estate with foresight, not hindsight.
So if one of our students out here is considering going into real estate, what would you say you have to do? I mean, go to college, not go to college, take classes, read books? I mean, what would you say you need to do today to be successful in real estate if you're just starting out?
Well, that's a great question. And I'd like to respond to that by telling a little story of the plumber who goes to the doctor's home and works on pipes for half an hour. When he's done, gives the bill to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh my God, I don't make this much money in an hour's worth of surgery." The plumber says, yes, I know, I used to be a doctor. So find something that you enjoy doing and do it well. And if it's plumbing, be a great plumber. If it's going to college, go to college with an understanding that what you study has to lead toward a job. Today, there are many people that get their educations in areas of sociology and in other professions that jobs really are not that available. So I want to tell you just one more vignette, and that is of a cartoon that I used to watch when I was growing up called the Jetsons. And the Jetsons was about, it was filmed in 1950, and it was what life would be like in the year 2050. Well, here we are in the year 2016. It's not so far off into the distance.
Right.
So in the Jetsons, it showed that the work week would be 3 days, and it would be 3 hours each day for 3 days, or work week that would be a total of 9 hours. So the question that I proposed to Michael Milken, who at one point in time I think owned the rights to the Jetsons, was, if that is our future 9-hour work weeks, is that enough? And can you feel good about yourself? And where are we headed? And his response was, well, is there a feeling of self-worth just working 9 hours a week? And with the computerization and the robots, and if you go into our future, where are we headed? And what jobs will be eliminated? So if you go back 100 years, more than 90% of employment was farming. But what is the employment today? Is it 1 or 2%? If we go into our future and we look at real estate, my business is housing. What I love is affordable housing. And I like retail as well, but affordable retail. And that's my area of expertise.
It's your niche. And
My niche.
it's funny because at LEAP, a lot of students will come up to me and say, Dr. Bill, what's the secret of success? It's like they want a pill or something. I'm like, work your butt off. Every successful person I know works hard. I mean, even the ones you don't think, like, I'm not a big fan of like the whole Kardashian thing. Those girls work hard. I mean, they're doing their social media. They've got a lot of stuff. Not stuff I want to do, and I'm not saying go to LEAP to do that, but I'm just saying you need to work hard to be successful, and it obviously has paid off.
Well, I think work is a healthy thing to do. And but now I've cut back. I only work half a day, from 8 to 8.
Yes, I understand. I mean, and you're going at a full steam ahead. So what would you say are the biggest opportunities in real estate today, if somebody were, getting into real estate right now?
Bill, I think that to understand value, to understand gentrification, to look at and understand opportunity, that's the key. Whether it's in real estate or medicine or dentistry or any profession, you can be the best teacher in the world, but if you're not committed to it, you're not going to be that good. So be committed and understand the direction of our marketplace. I had someone, a billionaire, once tell me that his success was based upon 95% luck and 5% brilliance. And then he looked at me and said, I'd gladly change 1% brilliance for another percent luck. So I think that the harder you work, the luckier you become. And I think it's important to put in the time, because if you don't put in the time, your opportunities are limited.
I agree. So, thinking back, how many years have you been in real estate? 35?
Well, 1978 is when I started in
Wow.
real estate.
All right. So, out of all of the deals you've done, what was, like, if I had to say, Fred, what was your best one? Like, this is really, like, the most amazing deal I ever did. What would it be?
I would say every deal is the most amazing deal.
Everyone?
Every deal is
No,
fun.
come on, there's got to be one that stands out as like I could tell you after doing dentistry for 30 years, like the one patient whose mouth I made like the biggest, change in. There has to be like a deal where you went in with like nothing, expecting nothing, and ended up making like a huge, huge, huge profit.
Well, I can tell you about some deals. Let's start with one in particular. I bought some homeless encampments on Wilshire Boulevard. This is in the year 2000, so that was 16 years ago. And I ended up acquiring 9 acres on Wilshire Boulevard, just west of downtown Los Angeles. And when I'd go look at the area, the police would stop me wanting to know if I was there to buy drugs.
Nice.
If you are west of downtown, in the Wilshire Union area, that was once a very depressed neighborhood. So I assembled 9 acres, and we ended up building the Home Depot, the Food for Less, the Rite Aid, the McDonald's, and we brought the first Starbucks, the first premium coffee house to the first district where there are more than 1 million people. And this is a community that has the greatest density west of the Mississippi, and it was an area that was starving for job formation. And yet, to do the assemblage and to have the foresight, I paid for the dirt around $14 million. Today, the dirt is worth over $100 million. But to me, I created 600 full-time jobs to a community that lacked the job formation.
Amazing.
The Home Depot, by the way, had the very first day labor center of any Home Depot in the country. So we found that the day laborers in the area were being extorted by gang activity. So we built a day labor center, which is funded by the city of Los Angeles. And the day laborers get to go and utilize restrooms, they get to be taught English, and the nonprofits offer amenities to the day laborers that otherwise would have nowhere to go.
That's awesome.
Now there are many other day labor centers that have been set up for other Home Depots around the country.
That's great. That's great. All right, so we have a question here. Did you have mentors in your life?
Yes.
And who were they?
Yes, I have had many mentors. And I would like to start out by mentioning Chuck Boxenbaum. And I met Chuck Boxenbaum in about the year 2005, and he was a great mentor for me. And we were having lunch one day, and he was asking me what projects I was working on. I told him I just bought a 100,000 square foot historical building at 7th and Union. And his first question to me was, are you doing a historical tax credit deal as part of the development of that site? And I said, what's historical tax credits? I made $2 million from our lunch.
Wow, it's a good lunch, huh?
It was a good lunch. And I want you to know I learned many, many other things from Chuck Boxenbaum. I learned about charity. I learned about giving back. I learned from him opportunity. And he was involved with 70,000 units around the United States. He had an understanding of value and accounting, and he had, may he rest in peace, he just recently passed away. He was a mentor for me, made a difference for me.
And you know, mentors are so important in life. That's why we make it a big part of the LEAP program. You know, I mean, I always tell young people, if you want to get a job in an industry, find a great mentor, shadow them, follow them, ask them questions, because you may end up in a profession and not like it, not knowing anything about it. So
you can make a lot of money, but if you're not happy at what you do,
then who cares, right?
Then it's drudgery.
Yeah.
I so look forward every day to the opportunities that I have in the marketplace. I'm a grandfather as of 2 days ago.
Oh, congratulations, I didn't know.
Thank you, but you know, I want to share something with you. When a baby is born like this, grasping at the world. And if you've ever watched somebody die, their hand opens up like this. They relinquish everything. So in your lifetime, you want to make a difference. It's between this and this.
That's true.
And you take nothing with you. So what difference will you make? It's not just the money. It's giving back and being part of a community and being a mentor and making a difference in other lives.
Yeah.
And Bill, I want to thank you for giving me such an opportunity to be involved with the LEAP Foundation, because it makes a great difference in a lot of lives, and you really make a difference.
Oh, well, I thank you for coming, because without the mentors, we don't have the program, so I thank you. So another question we got was, how do you find talented employees?
Great question. I have 165 employees, and finding employees, I find them in many different places. I just recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, I had a woman aged 63 come to me. She said, I've worked 30-plus years in the company that just closed their doors, and I'm now applying for jobs, and because of my age, nobody wants to hire me. She says, I'm not the fastest in doing accounts receivable, but I'm accurate. Well, I gave her a job, and she's phenomenal.
That's great.
And like the tortoise and the hare, she's not the fastest, but she gets more accomplished than just about anyone I've ever worked with. So you don't know where you're going to meet your future employees. It can be on an acquisition. I acquired a portfolio of buildings, and I got to hire some great people that I brought on board. We've placed ads, and that has worked for us at times. I bought one building, and the manager of this apartment building said, look, I've been to every prison in the state of California that starts with a SAN. He said, I'll work hard for you. He said, I need an opportunity. Will you give me that opportunity? And I hired him, and he's been phenomenal. So you never know where that opportunity will come from. It does take trust, but without trust, there's no growth. There is a risk factor, but there's a risk factor in all that we do.
I think the question is coming more from, let's say a young person wants to work for Fred Leeds. How would he or she apply for a job with you?
Well, I do have a website, fredleedsproperties.com, and we do interview, and we do mentor, and we are involved with 3 or 4 students from high school every summer. But I would say if you're looking for employment, there are a lot of places that you can go to as a startup, as a individual wanting to get involved in real estate. I would say start out with your agency license. You know, pay a couple $100, and education will be your foundation. LEAP is part of that foundation as well, because they'll help you in reaching for the stars and in succeeding and excelling, and the mentors that you meet can guide you and give you advice and push you in a direction that perhaps you wouldn't be aware of without such a program.
I agree. You know, I mean, and sometimes it's just, you know, we always say the most powerful word in the English language is ask. If you see somebody doing the kind of job that you think you really want to do, ask them, can I shadow you? Can I follow you? You know, one of the best employees we ever got when I had Discus Dental, we had 650 employees at Discus. You know, I love Nordstrom's. You know, who doesn't love customer service at Nordstrom? And there was a guy, and I hate shopping, and every year I'd go in there and I would just stand in the dressing room and he would just bring me all this clothes, and then I'd leave, and I'd do this one a year. And when we started hiring sales reps, I hired this guy. Well, not only did he kill it as a sales rep, he worked his way up the company. He then became COO of the company, and now he's running DenNat, dental company that I mean, is doing an amazing job. So finding great people and talking to them and hiring them from other industries is great.
I think that the opportunity is bountiful if you put in the time. You got to put in the time, and you got to work hard. And when I was first starting out as an agent in real estate, I needed to utilize clients. I had no clients, so I had to utilize my circle of influence. I had never had a physical, and so I went in for a physical to a physician who was a Vietnam War vet. And I said to him, I see all your trophies for racquetball. What do you say we get together at your club and play? So we did that. He beat me so badly, I said, now I need a physical. I said, but tell me about the building in which your offices are at. It looks like you need a larger building. So I did a real estate deal for him. So the opportunities exist if you put in the time.
All right, so final question, future. What do you think is the future of real estate, and why should people invest in real estate and not other things?
Great question. I'm going to tell a story that I told earlier, and it's an interesting story. So in 1980, I knew I wanted to live in a neighborhood in Santa Monica near San Vicente, north of Wilshire. And I knocked on every door between Ocean Avenue and 26th Street and San Vicente and Wilshire. And I found a man at the time who was 54 years of age. He was willing to rent his house out for $1,200 per month. I offered him $1,500, but I wanted half the rent to accrue toward the down payment of the house on a lease option. And after 3 years, I would exercise that option, which I accrued about half the down payment. And the option price, strike price, was $280,000. So 50 by 150 lot, 1,616 square foot house. I exercised the option. 3 years later, my mother, my stepfather, they come to see the house. My stepfather gets visibly upset. How could anyone in their right mind buy this house for $280,000? It would have been 1983. And my mother, who's so smart, said to him, "And what did you pay for your first house?" He thought about it. He said, $28,000. And then she said, "And what did your father pay for his first house?" He thought about it. He said, $2,800. So my question to you, Bill, if my son now wanted to buy that house today, how much would he pay for that house?
$28 million.
$2.8 million.
Oh, yes, I skipped a generation.
$2.8
Always
million.
thinking
And
ahead.
when he has a son,
That's right.
it'll be $28 million. And that's really why I'm in real estate. Because we don't think in terms of generations or the time value of money or $20 trillion deficits. So that's why I'm in real estate. I'm proud to be in real estate. I think real estate has a great future because you can't print more of it. But when you buy it, you better figure out how you're going to carry it, how you're going to operate it, and how you're going to pay the taxes.
Awesome. Thank you, Fred. Thanks so much. So if you want more information about Fred Leeds property, go to,
Fred Leeds at fredleedsproperties.com.
and if you want more information about LEAP, go to www.leapfoundation.com. Our summer program again will be July 23rd to the 29th at UCLA. Hope to see you there.
Thank you.